Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And since it is now back to school time, and a lot of school districts across the United States have already went back to school already, which personally should be against the law to go back to school in August when it's no air conditioning in a lot of these schools. Anyway, so I figured to do a movie about a school movie. And the movie we're going to be talking about is uh, the 19, I think it's 88 or 89 movie. I don't remember the exact year. Uh, the movie is Stand and Deliver. It stars Edward James Olmos, Lou Diamond Phillips, and a very young Andy Garcia. Of course, this movie, unlike a lot of these school movies, and I previously did one before called The Principal, which is of course a fictional movie, Stand and Deliver is actually based on an actual true story about school teacher Jaime Escalante, who used to be like a computer. I believe he used to work for IBM, I think. Not 100% sure on that, but he was laid off for whatever reason is he left that job, and he decided to become a school teacher. Now originally he wanted to teach school uh, computers to kids in a Barrio High School in L.A. Which is when we were at Barrio High School, I mean the high school mostly has like 99% or 100% Hispanic students in it. Um, because in East LA, they have a huge Hispanic or Mexican American population in it. That's what I mean by Barrio High School. And we're using that term, I know they still use that term today, but back in the 80s they did. And so he got roped into instead of teaching computers because actually, of course, school funds were tight then as they are now. So he got roped into teaching calculus or AP calculus to these kids. And of course, at first the kids had like a tough time doing it, but Escalante says, "Hey, these guys taught it in such an unconventional way that it worked on these kids, and they was able to do it. And he wanted these kids to take this AP calculus test, which is like the toughest test in the state, to do. And of course, all the school administrators and the principals said, "Hey, look, these kids are not going to be able to do it. It's the toughest test in the land, and not just in the state of California, but in the entire country. It's like the toughest test that's ever been devised." And Escalante says, "Look, I think these kids could do it, and I could work. And if I could work hard on these kids, and they work hard enough, I think these kids could do it." And the administrator says, at first they were reluctant to let him do it, but then eventually it came around, and then they saw some of the results in his class, so they figured, okay, um, okay, do it. So of course he does it, and have him to work. And of course they took the test, and of course they passed it. So of course and all of them got for some crazy this is like a real fluke thing. I don't know if it happened in a real story because the problem that I have with a lot of these movies is based on a true story. That's why I don't really do war movies because it's the same thing. It's because you know how accurate these movies are. And of course, I don't know what the actual real story is of having Escalante to teach these kids calculus. So I can't really compare the actual life story with the movie. Uh, so that's why I have following these movies because you don't know you only know like the Hollywood version of the story. Not in most of the cases you only know the Hollywood version of it, not the actual real life story. Remember that is in the when these kids finally took the test, all of them passed, all of them the exact same score, and they all made the same mistakes on the questions that got wrong. They don't have uh, the same mistakes on the questions that got wrong, and they all figured out the questions the same way. Every student was got even the questions they got right. They all did exactly the same way because they had to turn in all their notes because they had used it on scrap paper to figure out the questions. So they give them like stacks of paper to figure out the questions, and they had all made the same calculations and the same exactly mistakes. So naturally, of course, the school board, not only in LA, but the school board from the state of California, they all come in and they investigate this thing because they figure all the kids are cheat because A, they never had grades like this before in their lives. These particular students, and also they scored the highest of anybody in the entire state. So they all thought that like I said before, because they all got the same exact grades and they all made the same exact mistakes and everything, they figured, oh, the entire class was cheating. So of course, I should say, Hammer Escalante was played by Edward James Olmos, so he gives a great performance in this thing. He goes and confronts the two investigators, and one of the investigators was played by Andy Garcia. And he confronts them and says, "Look, if you're making a blanket statement saying there was a conspiracy, well, and every conspiracy, and you say there was a conspiracy, they're all conspiring together to pass this test." And he goes, "Every conspiracy has a leader. One more better leader than a teacher, because we're all taught the same way. Because I was the teacher, I taught all these kids. I taught them all the same way, and they did it on this test. And and so and they didn't want to go after the teacher. They want to go after the students because they feel the students did it. And he says, why aren't you investigating me? I'm the one who taught these kids. I know these kids for I think in in the space of the movie it was like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. He was working with these kids to pass this test. So so the investigator says, look, we're not investigating you, we're investigating the kids because there's all the same inconsistencies in the test. And I said, yeah, because they were all taught the same way by me. How can you not blaming me or accusing me of having these kids cheat? How can you not doing that? Um, and they were going, oh, we're not. They're making all kinds of false excuses or bullshit excuses, as to say, hey, we're not investigating. Uh, your kid. You're just investigating the kids, and not you. And so, of course, he claimed naturally, of course, Henry Escalante, of course, obviously, he decides to play the race court. And said, he says, if these kids were in Beverly Hills, go to Beverly Hills High School, and not this school, and not in Beverly Hills High School, you won't be investigating them. And of course, Andy Garcia has the man, and said, no one has the right to accuse me of racism. And so, yeah, what else? And he goes, well, what else do you call it? Well, these kids were Hispanic kids or Latino kids from a Beverly High School. You wouldn't be investigating. If they were in a ritzy glitzy school like Beverly Hills High or a better school, you wouldn't be investigating these kids. You know it, and I know it. And since we just wanted to do the retest, so eventually, even though the Escalante fought for him and said, look, this is a bullshit accusation. You know it's bullshit. Reinstate the original scores. And they go, we're not going to do it until they take the stupid retest. So he says, what can we, and all the students says, what can we do? I said, here's what we do. We take the test, we do an all day last minute study session all day long. We work on it, we work in my house, we work in the school all day long. And the best way you can do is knowing you pass the test, but get higher grades than you did before. And this test is going to be tougher than the one you had. And not only that, but they're going to be watching every single one of you guys like a hawk. So don't wear clothes with too many pockets. Because they think they might be hiding something in your pockets. Don't wear anything with a lot of pockets or no pockets at all. Uh, and giving them advice on how to get away with not being accused of cheating. Because that's what the teacher wanted. He said, look, if you wear stuff in our pockets or don't bring in a bag. Don't bring in this stuff. And just bring yourself in there. And you have pencils and paper and all the stuff you need to take the test. Don't bring anything with you. And so of course they took the test, and not only that, but they got higher grades than what they did before. So the teacher said, okay, I want the original grades reinstated, and that's how the movie ends with Escalante walking out of the school, and they flashing a bomb on the screen for a few years about how that every year a group got a higher, uh, the number of students that passed the test was growing higher and higher. First, like 20 students passed, and it was like 80 students passed, and then 125 students passed. By the time the movie came out, it was like 125 students passed this test. Now I went pretty quick with this review, but I also want to mention that the teachers who were in the school, even before even before the movie was even considered to be to for the producers to make this film, the other teachers were jealous of Jaime Escalante because of his success with these students. And for some crazy reason, he was able to get through these students and inspire them to pass this test and work hard with them, and they passed the AP calculus test because no one else in the school where he worked at was able to get through the students except him. So they're all jealous of him, and they even got more jealous of him when his life story was made into this movie, Stand and Deliver, to the point that within like a year or 2 years after the movie Stand and Deliver came out, he had to retire. He was pretty much forced out because the teachers and the staff of the school he was working at were so jealous of him that he didn't want to play with that crap anymore and decided to retire. And I think he's still living in Venezuela, I believe, because that's where he was from originally. And I think he's still alive. I think he's still living in Venezuela, I think now. But the way he was treated was unbelievable because we should have more teachers like that. He was able to get through these kids and teach them to pass these. But fortunately, the way the schools are now with the standardized tests and the Common Core test, that's particularly in the New York City area, the reason why the students who go to public schools today are so stupid is because they're not taught anything. They're only working on passing these stupid Common Core tests, and that's it. They're not taught math. The only math they taught us was on the test and nothing else. Nothing. As soon as they pass the test, they don't teach them any more math. They don't teach them history. That's why they don't know American history. They don't teach them science or English or how to write, how to speak correctly, and all that stuff. And that's why we see stuff when Jay Leno used to do in jail, asking history questions. That's why they don't know anything. They get all the answers questions wrong because they are not taught history, American history in school anymore. They're not. Because all they're concentrating on is these stupid tests, and that's it. You know from my experience that I took a standardized test in high school, my freshman year in high school, math test, a math RCT test, this Regents competency test. I passed on my first shot, and after that, I didn't have another math class anymore. After that, so I know for a fact what's going on in the public school. I know firsthand how it is, and the same thing was going on that happened to me. What's going on now in the public schools. I know I'm at a little tangent, but that's what's going on. And anybody who has kids in a public school in the United States, fight. Make sure you fight like hell for your kids to be taught the stuff they're supposed to learn, like history, math, science, English, writing comprehension. Those are the stuff that your kids should learn, and not stuff to pass the Common Core test. Um, when I know I went on a tangent there, but this movie points all that stuff out. Well, at least to me, it points that stuff out. That they should have teachers. It does point that problem out to me. That they want teachers to pass the test and not capable of doing it. Because the teachers are not capable of doing it, and the kids are not. Should have teachers who are that dedicated to them that they want to have them pass tests. Uh, Fortunately, it does pose that problem in that movie. Even though that movie's back in the '80s, that's what press this movie today. Problem with passing standardized tests then is the same thing that's going on now, and the teachers were jealous of Jaime Escalante's success with these kids. So that's my review of the movie Stand and Deliver. Please click on the video, please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. Also, you can check out all my videos on rowdyc.com, as well as all my videos on my YouTube channel. You can go to rowdyc.com. That's ORWDY, C.com. Go there and you can check out the Rowdy Reviewers site. Check out all of his TV trash videos, the Wrestling Mark, the P.O. Pizza Guy, all of his caricatures he does, plus all the other content on his channel he does. Great work. He has a nice little forum and website there that all of us reviewers can contribute to and contribute to his page for the last few months. But every week he posts, he attaches one of my videos onto his channel. So you can check out my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but go to his website as well. That's rowdyc.com, OWDY, C.com. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.